Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at 3 budget options for electric screwdrivers. This one here from QB, I've had this for a good while, and 2 new additions, all for around £20 or so less. We'll dive into it, see how they perform, where I bought them from, and if I think they're any good. Let's take a look. So this is take 2 at this specific task because I forgot to press record first time out, so I already know the results. But we'll start with this one. This is the first version of the 2 new electric screwdrivers that I've got. It's the lowest cost one as well, so I would expect this one not to perform as well as the others. And I don't already know that from what we've just done. But if we stick that into forward and start going, you can see it's struggling a little bit there and it's not managed to drive that screw all the way in. If I back it out and go in again, just not quite got enough. So that one's not got that screw all the way in. The updated version of this, and again we'll go close to where we drove the first screw in, same sort of wood in the OSB. Get it spinning again. And this one already feels a little bit more powerful. If I keep it on the screw head, and it's managed to drive it flush into the OSB. And again it will back it back out. And this one again, you have to push the buttons to get it going, same as with the first option. The last option is this one. I've had this one a long time and used it loads. It has the benefit of being able to set a kind of torque setting on the bottom here. So if you want, you can adjust that. We'll put it on the maximum, start it off going. And again, this one's push drive. You can see that's quite happily driven that all the way in super duper fast. You can pop it back out. Definitely feels among the more powerful of the 3. Straight in again. And again, that's driven it flush in with the timber. And back it back out. So you adjust your forward and back motion with this, and then when you push, it'll start spinning. There's no need to press any buttons. So that's them going into timber. This one definitely does feel the most powerful. You've got the 3 torch lights on the front, battery meter there, and this one I think is micro USB charging, not USB-C. But we'll have a look at them all a bit closer up at a desk. I'm going to take an electrical accessory off now, because I guess that's primarily what these are going to be used for. You're not going to be using them to drive screws into timber, so just to try and illustrate the power within them. So we'll spin out some back box screws and see how they perform in that application. Okay, so again, we'll start with this one. Again, you've got to press the buttons on it. There is a little torch on the end, show you it in action. And that's kind of it. It's a pretty basic one, but we'll see how it goes. Spinning this little back box screw out, again using the bits that come with it. Spun that out pretty quick. Straight back in. I was quite happy doing that. It saves the manual labour side. You can then, once these are spun in so far, obviously use it as you would a normal screwdriver. Still do lock and twist and turn. So that's that one. The updated version of that, again same principle, using the bits that come with it. Spin it out and give it a spin back in. Again, ever so slightly more powerful. This one kind of locks itself, so it's not turning that screw after a certain tightness. Only goes so far, and then it gives up on it. And again, using the bits that come with it, you've got to be careful, because as you can see, it's easy to start chewing them up. I just want to see if this one locks out as well. Now this one's happy to keep going, so that's interesting. The other one kind of starts spinning on itself. I mean, it's already more than tight enough, but just to say, this motor seems to lock, so it will keep spinning the screws. Maybe more useful for when you're doing screws into timber, if you were wanting to do that. And then this one again, we can spin the torque setting right down on this. We'll get it onto number 1, so then you can kind of avoid over tightening. It's a little bit longer. So this one I'm expecting again to perform better. It will do the push drive. I've set it down to torque 1, so we'll spin it out first, trying not to chew this screw up too much. Do that straight out, and then we'll give it a go straight back in. And it's bleep when it gets to the torque setting in the driver. If you want to move it to the mid position, you can then go back on it, and it shouldn't push drive. It's not, and you can tighten by hand. And again, that doesn't seem to be locking out. It will allow me to keep tightening. So this one seems to be the best performing for basic things such as your socket, light switch back box screws, and also just driving screws into timber. Again, you're going to be using your impact drivers, combi drills for that, but it's just to show the capabilities of it. This does feel a little bit more powerful. We'll have a little chat about them and a look closer up at the desk. So again, I can't remember what this one originally came with because I've had it for a while now, probably a couple of years. And if battery capacity still lasts really good, I very rarely have to charge it up. Again, I don't use this for driving screws and stuff. It's just basics, your back box screws and stuff that's a pain in the backside. Going over your terminals with, you can use them in consumer units. I've shown them on videos before. It's not over tightening your terminals, it's just nipping them down pre to the torque values. The fact it's push drive is really useful. Sometimes it catches you out if you haven't got quite on the screw head just right, and it'll start spinning when you don't want it to. But once you've got through that aspect, super duper, top quality, cheap electric screwdriver. And again, you can adjust the torque on the bottom based on what you're doing. These just pull in and out, nice and simple, magnetic base in there. This is a Milwaukee bit I've added in, but you can, if you want to keep it shorter, just put your bits straight in the end. So it's your preference on that one. So that's the QB, is that what we're calling it? And that's from Amazon. As I said, I'll drop links in alongside this. They're not the advertiser links, they are just normal Amazon links. It's really not worth, well, not worth for me sharing those. So I don't do that anymore. Never managed to get my £25 voucher, so screw Amazon. This is the kits as they come in the two separate parts. So this was the lower cost option, and I think they're the same kind of product, but that's Gen 2, this is Gen 3. So with these you get just a simple set of bits. This one, it does come with a longer POSI and PH2, so you get the option there in this little bit, and it also includes a couple of these wood drill bits. Again, if you just pile it in, might get you out of trouble super duper quick. These lock in, so it's not, well, they are magnetic, but they lock as well, so you push those to release. Little magnet in the bottom, push it up and it locks it in, and then your bit's obviously just changing the end. You can use other versions of these. You know, you don't have to stick with what comes in the box, but you know, they serve a purpose, don't they? And again, you've got your backwards and forwards motion. It's not push drive. It's nice fit in your hand though, and I think this one is a USB-C. Yes, it is. So this is the newest version of all the three drivers I'm showing, and it is 3 Newton meters, it reckons, for its torque, speed of 280 RPM, and the chuck is a 6.35 milli hex, and it takes a 5 volt 1 amp charger. Now, I'm not sure if that really does tighten down to 3 Newton meters. You're only really spinning up your connectors or your back box screws, and you do that by feel, but it claims that that's what it will kind of get to. That's an interesting one. And again, this one has a little torch in the end, just a single light back there, nice LED one, is bright enough just to help light up the terminals. This one here, again, you've got the release function. Again, there's a little magnet in the bottom of there to help hold it in if you wish, and you've got your micro USB charger. It's a different shape in the hand, but it is kind of a rubberized silicon type feel. Same with this one, so the ball on it is rubberized. So that's a nice, easy to grip feature. And again, you've got your little light on the end there when you're driving, and this light illuminates when it's charging as well. It is what it is. That's perfectly adequate for 99% of the stuff you're going to want to do with an electric screwdriver, just nipping up your back box screws, driving your terminals down, saving on wear and tear to your wrists. And yeah, they all compare pretty well. My favourite is this one. In terms of weight, you know, this is the heaviest by a good distance. These two, again, this one's a lot heavier than this one, and I guess it's to do with the gears, motors and batteries that are in them, and the way they operate. So this one is 3.6 volt 2 amp hours. It's got 18, you can see that on there. It's 18650 lithium ion and a runtime of 350 minutes. And that plays out pretty well. That does run a long time. I don't know if these have any markings on in terms of the runtime. No, they don't. So again, we'll have a look at the listings for those on Amazon to see how they come out and compare them at that level as well. But yeah, this one runs a lot longer, a lot more powerful, feels a bit better quality. Price-wise, there ain't a great deal in it. I think this one, roughly speaking, is under £20. That one just over, and I think that one was like 25 quid or so. So none of them are super duper expensive when compared to the premium products from Vessel and Bosch Go. And again, I've shared videos of them in the past. We've got them in our kits. These compare very well with the Vessel. This compares very well with the Bosch Go, outperforms it. So if I was looking at an electric screwdriver, having had this 2 or 3 years, and again, I'm not sponsored by QB, and I'm not making any money out of Amazon, it's just an opinion, that is infinitely better than most of the other stuff out there. Again, you've got your little battery meter on there. It's lived in my bag for years, works an absolute treat. Let's have a little look at the specs over on Amazon, if I can find them all, and we'll wind this video down. So hopefully you can see the screen there, and this one is the iQB, if that's what it's called, and you can see when I purchased that was on the 17th of December 2021, so it's actually a bit longer ago than I realised. And it's a 4-bolt electric screwdriver, and it's 20 quid plus VAT, give or take, isn't it? You can see, if we look at the pictures, what it'll do, it's comparing it to others. So this one has got a speed drive, it's also push drive, and it'll go to 4 Newton meters. It's got the 3 LED lights, and you can adjust the torque settings. So it gives you a bit more detail on there. And again, I'll link this in the description for anyone who wants to go off and take a look at it. You don't need to listen to me waffle through what it can do. We'll see if there's any reviews on there, just to have a quick look at them. We can see how the applications of these been used, people putting door handles on with them. I wouldn't really recommend putting hinges for a door on, but all the other little bits and pieces, very much what these are super duper useful for. It says here it will also sense current, whether you'd want to trust it with that, but I guess it's a good feature to have at DIY level. Again, under the sink there, yeah, I guess if you want to do that as a plumber, you could do. The reviews are pretty good, 4.4 out of 5. So yeah, that one looks legitimately decent, and my own experience of it is that it's good for what you want to use it for. Now this one from BriFit, if we're going to call it that. So this is Type C USB, a little bit more expensive. So this one again around 20 quid plus VAT, but comes up a little bit more. You can see here again Type C USB charging, 1 torch, a quick release chuck. Backwards and forwards. This one's not push drive. It will go to 10 Newton meters manual. You'll see, or you'll have seen earlier on, how this one kind of locked out before the others, which was interesting. Charge it up off a USB port, and again, the different applications you might want to use it within. This one's got 4.6 stars. We'll have a little look down at those reviews just to see. So again, out of 85 global reviews, the other one was out of probably a lot more, because I think it's been out for longer. But let's take a look. Yep, 912 for the 4.4. So it's kind of similar, but yeah, people quite happy with them for the price. And again, I've not had this one very long to talk about its longevity or anything, but I am going to use it day to day for a bit and see how we get on with it, mainly for battery life. Like I said, this one's battery life is super good. It lasts a really long time, and the weight in it, I can see why. We'll see how this one gets on. Now this other one here, it claims to be a new version from Ankylo, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. But that's the cheapest one. So you can see with the voucher, it's $15.99 including VAT. That kind of plays out in the performance that I saw from it. It wasn't as good as the other two, but still perfectly acceptable for what you're going to be using it for 99% of the time. So there's no real reason with that. Again, that one says it'll go up to manual of 10 Newton meters, but it did keep tightening beyond the other new one I've got. So that seemed to be a little bit better in 2 Newton meters on the electric drive aspect. And again, you can get that in red or black. So another one to chuck into the mix And if we have a little look down the bottom here, that one's got 4.4 out of 5 from 45 reviews. And again, it is what it is. You get what you pay for with these things. For the slightly less it costs, say £5 from the iQube or QB, I would definitely be buying this. And again, I'll link all of these. I do have an Amazon Associates account, but I'm not going to bother with it because I've still been trying to get £25 out of them for near enough 3 years. The juice is not worth the squeeze. But you can go off and check them all out in the description and see what you think yourselves if you're going to try one out. If you've got one already and got any experience of it, do drop that in below. Thank you very much for watching, and my pick is this old trusty bad boy. I've had it for a long time. It works an absolute treat. It outperforms the other two, and they cost about the same. And again, I prefer it to the Bosch Go, the Bosch Go 2, or the Vessel, all of which I do have. Those things are way more expensive. I think the Bosch Go 2 is around £60. The Vessel around the same. It's just not worth it for what you get. I'd go with one of these. Infinitely better. The only real drawback I would say to this one is the way it feels in your hand, with it being a longer rectangular thing rather than a proper kind of screwdrivery end. You may have a preference for that. I get on with it quite fine. It's not a problem, but just to chuck that in there as a final closing point. For the feel in your hand, this one again is the silicone gripped, but it is just that longer thing. So yeah, just as a closing point on that video, I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you've got any comments in and around the screwdrivers you use of an electric variety, or if you just impact gun everything away and you don't worry about these small little drivers, drop all of that in below. If you've not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference to what I'm trying to grow here. Making a bit of an effort to really push on the content we're making. We've got loads of exciting installs coming up, including from a brand new inverter manufacturer to our portfolio of equipment we're offering our clients. Now I'm excited to get that one out. And we've got some more site-based battery storage and solar systems, 40 kilowatt hour battery storage system coming up very soon. And we've started the Renewables podcast with Sam Featherstone. I say we, I have. You can go and check that off. I'll link it in the description to the video with this, so you can go and watch the Renewables podcast with myself and Sam Featherstone. We've got a couple of episodes out already talking about the recent past document, introducing what we're doing, and coming up over the next few weeks we've got loads of guests from the renewables industry beyond just electricians, and we're excited to share more on that in the weeks ahead. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.